Hi there to all our listeners and viewers. We're back again with podcast season 3 brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka. And I'm your host this evening, Kaveshka Pereira. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we start off, let me wish all of you a very happy, prosperous, and a blessed new year. So, this is a chance, a brand new year, another chance for you to rewrite your journals, to rewrite your life stories, to do what you love and to change, bring that change into your lives. Now, when you speak about doing what we love, staying unique, it's all about creativity. It's about the creativity that you and I instill in ourselves. And that is exactly what the tagline for podcast season 3 is as well. So that is creativity without constraints. So we have that tagline with us. And here we are with the 8th episode of podcast season 3 brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka. And this is a production of the National Showcasing Team. So let me remind you how you can watch us and listen to us. That is through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, YouTube, and the Facebook page of ISAC Sri Lanka. So the youth via ISAC Sri Lanka has come forward specifically to give you this experience and to add value to your lives and give that insight about creativity and how you and I can change the world with the creativity that we have within ourselves. So today, we have another guest speaker, a very special speaker as well. So without taking much time, let's get into conversation straight away. We don't have my co-host today, Ashi. We will be missing you, but you got me along with a great speaker, a great personality that we'll be in conversation with. So to introduce the speaker for the day, ladies and gentlemen, he is a lecturer at the University of Moratuwa. He's the youngest professor in civil engineering science in Sri Lanka. He's a researcher and also an academic and inventor at the University of Moratuwa. Ladies and gentlemen, your speaker for the day under the title Creativity is the Mirror of the Lifestyle, Professor Rangika Halwatura. Professor, hi everyone and welcome. Good evening.
Hi Kavishka, I born as in a Sinhala formal way and wish you a very good and happy New Year. And I wish all the members of ISAC and also all the viewers happy and prosperous New Year.
Thank you, Professor. I'm wishing you the very same. Professor, so how are you? How have you been? How has the New Year been so far with you? Just 5 days of the New Year already gone. How have things been with you?
Well, every day, every new day will be a new experience in my life. So the yesterday is already gone, and today is almost gone. And I always live in today and tomorrow, not yesterday. So yesterday is a lesson learned. So that's the clock counts in my life. So whether it's a new year or December 31st or January 1st, doesn't matter. It will be a new day for me. So there are a lot of new hopes, new experience, new dreams in with the day. So that's how the days goes and years goes. Every day.
Yes, I think that's a message already as we start off as well. Because now I think we have this new year, new me, new year resolutions, this, that, and the other. But then taking every day as a new day and a bundle of new opportunity, I think that alone is so much for our lives. And that is one thing we need to look at as well. Like, see, sometimes if you're in the middle of the week and if you want to do something, you're like, I'll wait till Monday because that's the start of the day, start of the week. Or if you're in the middle of the month, you'll be like, I'll wait for the first of next month. So without all this, if you take every day as a new day and an abundance of opportunity, well, life will be much better, I guess. So that's the message we have with the very first question, a very casual question, but we have a message there from Professor himself. And Professor, so just to brief on how the conversation will go, it'll have 3 segments. First, it'll be a quick icebreaker question, which, well, both of us can share opinions, and also our listeners and viewers joining us can always share their ideas. They can always like, comment, and share the videos and podcasts they listen to. And then the second segment will be where we would have the in detail discussion about your life, about creativity and all that. And then the third segment is the hot seat segment, where we have a few quick questions, to get things interesting and finish things on a very high. So, Professor, all good to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All ready. Okay, so to start off, Professor, the icebreaker question for you and also for our listeners and viewers who are joining us. If you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for and why?
I think the three wishes will be the number is too big for me. I mean, I don't need. I never expect three wishes from anybody. Even Boot comes to me and say, okay, you're going to get three wishes. I will get two. And the first wish I say I don't need. The second wish, let me keep with one wish. So I'll keep one wish. If I get a chance, just a joke. So you wanted me to give three wishes. So one, I would say, I really love to travel with the time. So let's say if I can go back or go forward to see how it is going to be, then that will be easy for me to replan or rather adjust my life. Going back to the past is not to have and not to correct what was done in my life in the past. That is not my expectation, but to revisit what I have done and to see how I can rectify them in the future. So, and at the same time, if I can foresee, or rather, if I can go forward to see how it is going to be around me, then I'll be able to adjust some of the very rather sort of fine tuning my
That's right.
my life. And so you need to have three wishes. The second, I would say, I have two loving daughters and a loving wife with me. So if I have the second wish, I always say, okay, I want my wife in my very first the day I met her, and also I love to see my two kids. If I can carry them this way, that will be the second wish. So I think I have completed the third wish also.
So I think it's very nice, some beautiful wishes that you have. And well, those are, I think, little moments in life that every one of us cherish. Like the holding your little one in hand, that the moment you became a father, I think that cannot be replaced by anything else. The moment you become a parent, rather, it is not only a father, but also a mother. That moment is so emotional that even someone watching that would get emotional, and there will be happy tears falling down our cheeks, and those are moments that we will cherish the rest of our life. And also about going back and forward in time, I think a very interesting thing. Well, I was going to ask whether whether there are things that you want to change if you wanted to go back, but then you gave the answer already. But then yes, going forward as well, we would love to see how the future is, so we can plan, be creative in what we live now, and then adjust a little things so we are ready and packed for whatever comes down our way. So that was Professor sharing his idea on the three wishes, or rather what he would wish for if he had three wishes. So every one of you joining us, so listening to us or watching us, can also share what you would wish for if you were given three wishes and why. Because it's a rare opportunity. Some of us sometimes say if you're given three wishes, the first wish would be to ask for an infinite number of wishes, because that's one thing we would love to have, some of us. But then also it's about sometimes putting in your heart and soul and doing things and getting that opportunities and getting it right with time to live life. So share your opinions, look what the others have shared as well, and keep these things in mind as well, because these might be your dreams, these might be your goals that you will be being creative and working towards. So with that, we come to the end of segment one, the icebreaker, and we get into the in detail discussion with Professor to get to know more about his life and his approaches, his way of thinking, and how creativity is the mirror in one's lifestyle. So, getting into discussion straight away. Professor, now, according to you, what is creativity and what kind of creativity must the university or students have? Because we, certain or most of us rather, have to have this perception that the education system is, it's just all very cliche and very streamlined, right? There's not much of creativity. So what do you think is creativity, and what can be added to university, and sometimes what students could experience?
Well, I personally believe creativity should be rather given, let's say 40% of what we teach at the schools and the universities. Okay, we'll go down a little bit down, and we will talk about the schools as well. Unfortunately, that is not there with the system at the moment, especially countries like developing countries, and especially in Sri Lanka. The creativity has killed to the maximum. Your first question, actually, your question is with so many sections and subsections. The first question is, what is creativity? Well, I personally believe the creativity is a passion, and it's a boon talent. Kavishka, if you was, I mean, let's say one of the wishes, if I wanted to be a good singer, even Pandit Amaradev will not be able to do. I mean, teach me that. I mean, you can't create that particular creativity in me. So you are always coming to this particular world with certain born talent. So you need to first what you need to do is you have to understand who you are and what are the creativities you have. So that time is not given for our kids. I mean, we are not really allowing them to read themselves. You were talking about rewriting the life in 2022. I rather believe more than rewriting the life. I believe we should start reading ourselves. So we don't do that. So if you want to be, think of your creativity. If you want to polish your creativity, or rather you'll not be no one. I mean, let's say I'm an inventor, I'm an innovator. So if you ask, okay, what are the tips you can give to the university students on improving the innovativeness or rather inventiveness, I'll not be able to do that. I'll be able to guide them. I'll be able to share my experience, but I'll not be able to teach them how to become an inventor. That should be a boon talent. So the number one, the thing, Kavishka, I think we should start reading ourselves. You're not doing that. Everybody across the generations, we measure them with one single yardstick, that is education. We first measure them at grade 5 scholarship. We get the passes, not the failures. Failures are down, chased out. Then you have another 6 years. Then you have another barrier, that is O-level. So you grade them based on O-level. You get the cream. You send them to the A-level, say maths, bio, or commerce, or whatever your stream now, but still you are graded based on your the ordinary level or the O-level qualification. So we never talked about the people who missed or rather who couldn't catch the bus. And then we go to the A-level. Again, one single yardstick you measure. Those who are passing will be the success stories. The failures are real failures. So I think that system has to be changed. So everybody has a unique talent. You just think about the people who we'll take one good example, Kavishka. Let's say a person who's working in a garage, right? He should be able to, or rather he can tune the engine by just listening to the engine noise. I can't do that. I'm an engineer, but I can't do that. If you give both of us a mathematical question, I will do it in no time, but he will definitely fail. But if you try to measure both of us, giving a engine and tune the engine, I'm dead sure I'll be a real failure. So that is something you need to understand. And at the same time, if I can read myself and if I can understand who is the real person who is living inside me, then I'll be able to value the person who can tune the engine. Today in this particular country, we don't really value the creativity. We just measure them based on the brand they wear, the way they cut their hair, and the type of the brand of the vehicle they used to travel. So like that, you have certain benchmarks for a person to measure the people. We never measure them based on the value they added to the life, based on the value they added to the country, based on their creativity, based on their talents. We never value them. They have certain benchmarks. We measure them, and the rest were chased out. That was done by our generation. That was done by our the father or the parents' generation or the forefathers' generation. But we should stop that, Kavishka. At least at your generation, we should start measuring the creativity. You can't. I mean, how much I say, Kavishka will not be able to do the value a person based on the creativity. The reason is Kavishka doesn't know. I mean, now I'm not really pinpointing you. I'm
Yes.
pinpointing your generation, and you wanted me to talk to the university students who are in there engaging the activities these days, and more than the youth, right? Kavishka and all these people are basically representing the youth of this country. So I'm pointing, saying Kavishka, that is the youth
Yes.
of the country. So you people will not be able to value a talent or the creativity of a person without knowing who you are. If you also try to measure yourself based on the grade 5 scholarship, based on the O-level results, based on A-level results, based on the class you are going to get in your life, you will realize one day you are a real failure and not a success story. You can't be unique, Kavishka, because you need to create a brand, right? I mean, you can't create a. I don't want. I mean, by telling all this stuff, by spending, I know I'm going. I mean, more than you expected. Without basically without. I mean, if you want to create your own brand, that is the creativity. I personally believe maybe by seeing by making a music video or by creating an invention or all these steps, you are trying to create your own brand. I don't want to, by telling all these the stories, I don't want to create another Rangika among all these listeners. If I'm trying to do that, I'll be another failure. So you can read me. I'm not going to teach you. You can learn me from that, learn from me, and you can be your own character. Kavishka will be Kavishka, not Rangika. You want how much you try to wear the way I dress, you'll not be able to create Rangika. You are imitating me, but not really creating your own brand. So I personally believe the creativity is basically the passion and the talent you have, and that governs you to create your own brand. So once the brand is created, that's there. It's a matter of maintaining the brand. So that again very difficult. Creating the brand and the maintaining the brand. So that's all passion and that's creativity. I hope that is too much. I know it's too much, but I wanted to give
it was a whole package answer, a whole packed answer. But then I think so much of explanation, so much of detail, and so much of value in that answer that make us realize, right? Because Professor did correct me as well. See, I said to rewrite 2022, and Professor was like, no, read yourself in 2022. Because that is very right. Because I stopped for a moment, like, all right, yes, because if we are to rewrite, we need to read ourselves first. We need to analyze ourselves. We need to know ourselves first in order to rewrite and change things. Because even so much relatable, what everything that the professor said was very, very relatable. Because most of the time, you and I sometimes tend to look out and look at these luxuries and try to follow people, try to imitate people, try to copy people, and try to restrict ourselves to certain ways and means of doing things. But that is not creativity, and that is not how you are measured and how you get your own value. It's about the gifts you have, the values you have, the passions you have, and how you add value to yourself and how you do things in a very, very specific way, which makes you different from one another, because you and I are a very unique DNA and no one can change that. So it's about sticking to that. So, Professor, going back to the next part of the question, now, how can this be added in the university and the education system in your thinking?
Well, it's nothing complicated, Kavishki. But the thing is, we don't want creativity in this particular country. We don't need the creative people in the country. We need some certain set of slavers in the country. The youth, if the person who are really coming to this so-called the generation today, if they can become another slaver, so that is what the country wants. I mean, they don't need independent thinkers. They don't need creative people in the country. So that is the biggest issue. If we want to inculcate this creativity in the youngsters, it's really nothing other than giving them a free time for them to read themselves. So I'm reiterating the same point. So let them to be free. I mean, make them free. I mean, freeing in the sense, I mean, let's say youth always love to hear this making you free. I mean, it's not really completely letting you go where you want to go. That is not what I mean. So you have to have that particular string attached, but always have an extended string. Then you have the freedom within your proximity. It's not okay. We'll take a small example. Kavishka, I'm into 44 now. So if I try to okay, we'll put it this way. When I was a university student, or rather even before, I love to. We always love to have a partner. So if I try to do the same thing at the age of 44, people will do the same as what the people is doing to the politicians these days, right? So you have to understand there are things which you need to do within a certain amount of time period. So you can't what you miss today, you'll not be able to achieve in 10 years down the line. So you need to do whatever within that particular time period. So the experience in your life is a matter of exposing yourself. So unfortunately, that's experiencing and exposing is not there in our system. And we are not letting them. Let's say I'm a lecturer. Let's say I have a lecture of 3 hours. What I do is from the first second to the last second, I will always try to load you with the content. I never come to my class to share my experience. If I start sharing my experience, my students will refuse me. So, but if I go to my university life, Kavishka, I still can remember my lecturers, and those are not because of the content they told us, but the lessons regarding. We never looked the type of car they travel to the university. We never looked their dress, but they are real role models in our life just because of their experience sharing. So we started learning them more than they start teaching us. We started learning them, but this culture is not there in our system, Kavishka. Very unfortunate. We are always trying to teach you. You are much more advanced than us. Your generation is much more advanced than us. If you want to find something, the mobile phone is there. You just Google it. The knowledge is there. We don't have to give you the knowledge. But what matters, what missing is giving our experience. You will not be able to find that in your mobile phone, right? You will not be able to find my experiences in this mobile phone unless you go to my Facebook or somewhere, or you go to my some hidden folder and or try to get my life, the previous life. Other than that, they will not be able to find me. But what we should do as our the old generation, we should start letting you to teach or learn from us than we trying to teach. So if that particular small change can happen in the education system, you will be free. And you will be free thinkers. It can be political, it can be social, it can be everything. You are a free thinker, and you will become a political person. When I say political, people will start questioning me. What the hell? I mean, why you are really forcing the university student to do politics? I'm not a political. I never studied political science in my life, Kavishka, but I believe politics. Politics is you believe something. You believe something until you are defeated by someone else. Once you are defeated, your idea is defeated by someone else, make sure you follow the guy who were defeated by, or who you were defeated by. So that is what I believe. So if you can inculcate that particular fact in our students, I'm very sure you will start reading yourself, you will find your own talents, and you will become independent thinkers. With that, the creativity will be automatic, Kavishka.
Thank you so much, Professor, for that. So much of insight. And I think, likely said, it is very unfortunate, because I think even as a moderator and a compeer, this is one question I've asked in most instances from many panels. How can we change the education system? How can we get this creativity in? How can we add value to our education system? Because it is so cliche and so framework. There's so much of given that it's very difficult for us to go out of the way and add value. But
Kavishka, let me interrupt. I don't think anybody will be able to change this particular education system in the country. I was there at NIE and NEC Education, National Education Commission and National Institute of Education. I tried my level best there, but unfortunately we can't change. I realized that we will not be able to change this country or the education system by change or rather change the country through the education system, it is impossible because that much these foolish politicians are disrupted the system. So what matters is wherever the possibility is there, we should go and let the people to understand themselves. So other than that, don't ever even ask that particular question from anybody. How much they talk, they will not be able to do it in their practical life. It is impossible.
Exactly.
I mean, we always say we are professors and there are a lot of professional the teachers in this country, but how much we say we are successful, we are real failures in the country. Only one single profession, I don't want to say it's a profession, but they are the only people who are successful. But if you can read them, you are a good creator. The reason is, Kavishka, they don't have O level, they don't have A level, they have who I'm referring. They don't have they don't have university education, but they are real success people in the country. They are very creative. The reason is they get the social exposure which you and I don't get. We don't go and interact with people. They go and interact with people, so they learn from them and they practice more than what they learn from the theories. They started learning through the community, and their success with the corruption, with everything, their success. The reason is they read the people than you and I. We read books, they read people. Very, 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 I mean, very simple theory.
Very simple. I think, yes, exactly. Because now, see, it's opening our minds to understand this logic as well. Because I think it is right. Because they do the certain profession that Professor was talking to, and I think we all of us understood which the profession was. No fingers pointed directly though. But then it's about them reading people, understanding the mindset of people, and playing around with it in a very creative way. And that is because, just like Professor said, they've mingled with people, understood people, read people. And here we are only blaming, but not reading and understanding and adding value to our lives. So that is sad. So let's at least try now to read more, to read not books, not theory, but experience, people, life, and adjust and adopt our lifestyles accordingly, that we grow and nurture ourselves as people, not just theoretically, not just with knowledge alone, but as people, as a whole full package with qualities and all of that, as a right person with a great personality. So thank you so much, Professor, for all that information that you put into. And Professor, next question. Now, Albert Einstein has said that creativity is intelligence and having fun, but so it's about asking your comments and whether you agree with this. And I think you wholeheartedly do agree, because you've already answered it. You've already answered the question and the explanation is given. So I'll not go into much elaboration. But anything to add? Yes, feel free to. Professor.
Well, I think I have already answered the question. Yeah, intelligence and it's a boon talent. So I think I can add the passion and the talent to that. So that's it.
That's it. Yes. So we've got the answer already, like we were discussing. Now, Professor, as a lecturer, now some people, now again, we are talking about mindsets and all that. So now when we hear the word lecturer, sometimes most of us might think, now this is not a creative person. This is the person who reads or tells us exact books, or he's got a abundance of knowledge that he's going to just pass down to us. So what kind of creativity do you bring in for us to know, to get that exposure? And any one of us or any one of our listeners or viewers who want to be a lecturer, who want to be a teacher, who want to be a facilitator for life, wants to be creative, what are your tips and how do you do things differently when you work with students?
Obviously, it's a very serious question, and I'll be very critical. Sometimes you may not agree with me on the points which I say. Well, number one, I don't believe we have universities in Sri Lanka. We have teaching institutes. Those are not universities. Number two, we don't have lecturers in our. We do have, but I mean, I'm very, very, very generally, I'm telling. We don't have lecturers in the system. We have teachers. So we have to understand the difference between a university and a teaching institute. At the same time, we have to understand the difference between a teacher and a lecturer. So the university, the word implies, which as the word implies, you need to create the knowledge, right? The teachers, and at the same time, the lecturers and the teachers, if you start comparing them, the lecturers, they always start creating the knowledge and disseminate. But the teachers, they just disseminate, right? They don't create knowledge. They just disseminate. So if you compare the current university academics in the country. We have more than 5,000, 6,000 academics in the country. I think it's more than 6,000 now. So you count how many number of international publications done by these 6,000, more than 6,000 academics in the country. Then you will realize they are not really lecturers, they are teachers. And you have so many universities in the country, and you see why the rating, the international ratings are going down, and why they are becoming, why I call them as the teaching institutes than universities. So I think if you can, I'm letting you to find the answer. So I think it's high time for us to rethink and or rather again from the lesson learned, we understand what we are heading. We are so comfortable within our working environment, Kavishka, because I'm the full professor, so I earn a good salary. So whether I do research, whether I do inventions, whether I teach or not, at the end of the day, I will get my salary to my bank. So unless you start measuring the people based on their performance, nobody in this country will be able to change this particular system, or rather change these institutes to the university. So I think I strongly believe we should start measuring people based on their performance and based on their creativity. Or we will add little more to the performance. So if you do that, we will be able to inculcate the creativity within the university system, and you can easily call them as lecturers than teachers. Unfortunately, that's why I said you go to Google Scholar and see how many number of papers per year from international papers, let's say SCI journal publications, the Science Cited Index journal publications from the Sri Lankan universities. At least even collaborative with some other foreign university, they are very, very minimum. So I think those are the points we need to correct ourselves. Then we will be able to convert these institutes to the universities. So within that, I am very sure you'll be able to find the answer for the questions you asked from me.
True enough. So much of witty and catchy answers. I'm loving this conversation, Professor. I'm extremely loving the conversation because we are having fun, but we are having a conversation. We are learning things about life and things around the society as well.
It's not really to laugh, Kavishka. I think we should cry hard. At least at the beginning of 2022, we should cry hard to know what exactly happened to us. We always point the finger and say the politicians are destroying the country. These 225 people can destroy the visions and the dreams of 22 millions. They are wonderful people, right? They are so creative, so intelligent. That is bullshit, right? They are not that. But the reason is we don't read ourselves. So we have to start reading that.
That is right, Professor. That is so much right. And I think Professor did tell us what exactly to look at. Look at the numbers of how many publications, which is true. If you are a university student, you are already looking for journal articles and doing your researches and dissertations. And here I am also doing my higher studies, doing my MBA, and me looking for dissertations and journal articles. And it is very, very rarely we come across a Sri Lankan article up to standard and something that we can reference and take. Very minimal articles that we find out there along with international publications. And also now, some time back, we would look at the previous generations, that is rather the professor and the previous generations of our great-grandfathers or grandfathers, and we understand the effort that needs to be put in to become a professor, to get this PhD level, to come to the doctorate level. But today, you wake up the next morning and you hit a bush. You have 101 professors out there. People sometimes who have not done their O-levels, who are out there. They're called professors, they're called doctors in front of their name, along with a couple of other letters in front of them. So it's very sad. It's very sad. But then this is what's happening around the world. So it's responsibility of us also to learn to read ourselves, to keep reading ourselves and read the world and the society out there, just like the professor has been reiterating, in order to add value and change what's happening around the world. So put effort into that, put thought into that, and probably things would get better along with time. And Professor, now, what kind of relationship do you see between creativity and the lifestyle of a human being?
Well, I think Kavishka, those are very linked. Linked together. You will not be able to dissociate those two. The life is always going with the creative. If you dissociate and if you start talking them as two different elements, you will not be able to be a successful person. So they go together. And more you experience in your life, you will become more creative. If you want to be a good creative person, let's say, come from the previous question or the previous answer, the Kavishka. Now there are people who do research in Sri Lanka. We can't really blame the entire the slot, but there are few, not really few, majorities into that. But even some of the research happening in the country, we spent millions and billions for research, but really the outcome, are they really adding values to the country's economy? Are they really bringing some new knowledge, or are the new industrial improvements in the country? That is really minimum. So that is where the country lacks. The reason is, Kavishka, the main reason is we are not really reading the community or the user. So if you want to become a creative, let's say, I'll stick to my profession, let's say being as inventor. If you want to become innovator, not inventor, if you want to invent something, and if you want to go to the industry, go to the market with your product, so you need to find something, some problem from the community. If you overnight, if you invent something, let's say in your dream, you get some idea, you just invent that. If you start forcefully planting that into the community, I'm very sure that doesn't have the sustainability. How much the government tries to put that into the society, if the society doesn't want that particular invention, or rather that is not there in their priorities, that will be rejected. So you need to find the problems of the community. At the same time, you understand what they need, in what form, in what color. So all these things is basically coming from the community. If you are a lecturer or a professor or a university student, if you want to become a creative person, and a productive creative person, you can be creative and say, wow, I'm so creative, but doesn't value. I mean, you doesn't have any say in the community. So if you want to become a productive creative person, you need to go to the community. You need to work with the people. So I personally believe, not because I was graduated from University Moratuwa, I managed to become inventor or a creator. That was came to me just because of I worked with FUTA, Federation of University Teachers Association. I should give all the due respect to them, because with that I learned there are a lot of other disciplines, and there are a lot of other valuable person in this country. Because Moratuwa University people, they believe, oh, they are the big bosses, oh, they are the goods in the country. But unfortunately, even though they think, when you jump out of the gate of the University of Moratuwa, they are nothing. Nobody knows them. I have seen many people who have studied political science. I have seen many people who have done sociology. I found they are much more valuable than engineers to this country. So I started reading them. I started being with them, and finally they created me here, because I was reading them. I was learning through them, and finally I managed to become whoever you call. I became Rangika. So that matters a lot. So you need to be with the community. You need to understand. You can't just go to the community and say, oh, I'm a professor. No, before you go to the community and say you are a professor, you need to ensure the people will recognize you as a professor. So for that, you need to go and work with the same frequency. When you go to the community and when you start talking English where the community doesn't know English, you will be thrown out, right? So you have to understand, you have to match their frequency. That is that if you can do that, the rest is nothing.
I think very much detail there as well. I think, and relatable, because now we see now personally we've seen many inventions being developed by youngsters around the country, but the problem we see is that they are not commercialized. This cannot be taken and given to society, because you've not looked at the society, you've not read the society, just like Professor mentioned, and that alone puts your inventions down. It's just an invention. There's just one day you're a star, a hero, and the next day you're a zero back again, because you haven't lived that, you haven't learned from life, or rather you haven't applied it in such a way that it can be commercialized, made a whole strategy out of it and given to society, and even developed as a country as well. So That was conversation with Professor Angika. So much detail, so much value, so much of insight, so much for us to stop for a moment and rethink about our lives, about our approaches in life, and how we do things differently, and how we need to read ourselves, how we need to read community in order to experience and add that to our lives. Now, with that, Professor, we move into the final segment, the hot seat segment. Interesting, quick questions, and we'll be looking forward for quick answers. And let's get into conversation right away. All right, Professor, what is your favorite item that you bought in 2021?
Wow. I think I bought a new racket, new badminton racket. I think that is, yeah. And I recently, 2021, I got a good lens, new lens, and a good camera.
Right. So you're into photography as well, though. Just
well, my life is going all over the way. I do wildlife photography. I'm still playing. I'm a good badminton player, so I have enough time. I have a lot of free times. I'm a good farmer, so my life is not really engineer. You or a creator or inventor. So there are a lot of other things which I enjoy in my life.
So that's nice. So a racket and a lens, the favorite items bought in 2021. Professor, when you die, what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow. When you die, I still never thought of dying, but you're trying to think of that as well.
Take you to the future. You want that as a
well, I'm a person who always love to say earn 100 rupees and save 99 rupees. And if I get 100 rupees from the country, give the country back 101 rupees. So that is my I mean, that is how my life was. I always try to adjust or rather balance all these things. If I earn 500,000, I have ways and means of spending 500,000, but I make sure I give 500,000 plus 1 rupee back to the country. So I'm so happy. Even I die today, I know I'm successful, and because I know I have done my duty, I have paid my debts. Who are I really owe to this particular country, because from my grade 1 to my university and even my postgraduate, these poor people have spent on me. So they can't talk. That's why they spend on us, and they send us to these positions to represent them. So I think I have done my duty. So even I die today or tomorrow, I always I will die with a happy face, because I know I had a balanced life and I did my duty.
I think a clear conscience matters so much in life, and that is one thing that you'll be happy to die with, a clear, happy conscience. And I think Professor is living his life, and no regrets to think of at the last moment of breath. So, Professor, next question. What is one of the most fun childhood memories that you have?
Wow. Well, that
I'm sure it was a very fun childhood,
really,
but just one.
putting me to the hot seat. Well, in my childhood, I really in my childhood, I really can't recognize or rather pinpoint one single thing I had in my life. Well, it was really a tough call, Kavish, because I was not really fed with a golden spoon. I built up with my parents were I mean they were the best parents in the world for me. But we had a really tough life from the childhood, but not the childhood. If I pinpoint one memorable point in from the entire life, I'll pick one point, Kavishka. That was the first day at my University of Moratuwa. I was at the first seat, first row of the lecture. And the lecturer was a maths teacher, a lady or a female character, and fairly old lecturer. And she was start talking in English. I was really shocked, because I never realized the English education or learning in English is that much complicated. So I still can remember the day I was sitting at the first seat, and I was thinking whether to quit the university life and going back to back and doing something else. And that day, I still can remember from that particular lecture until the next day morning, I was thinking, what should I do? that was a very crucial day in my life. I had to I had certain benchmarks which I have planned, so I was running through them. So I think that was a memorable day in my life.
That would have been the make or break, I think, of Professor Rangika's life. And I think a good
Completely.
stick by because of the aims, the dreams you had in life. And if not for today, we wouldn't be having a conversation with Professor Rangika Halvapuran. Professor, next question. If you could star in a movie, if you could act as the star in a movie, what movie would it be?
What role?
What movie would it be?
What movie? I'm not a movie lover, so I can't remember the names of the movies. Well, that was very, very. I mean, I'm really in the hot seat now. So if you can give me a few the movies name of the few movies, I'll be able to pick one.
Right. Okay. Now I'm in the hot seat.
I pass the ball to you. Well, I'm not a person who actually I was a good movie lover when I was doing my O levels and A levels. So that time, not the single movies. I mean, we all I don't know this generation, but that time we love to watch the Hindi movies. I still can remember Wednesday 10 o'clock in the night. Every Wednesday we have a new movie in ITN. So we do our work and we let the parents to sleep. So from the 10 till the midnight, we were watching the
movies, the new
the
releases.
film,
I think those are the
Hindi
times of
movies. But after that, I
Amitabh
think I
Bachchan
lost the
and
interest.
Kapoor's and all of them acting the stars.
Yeah. But
That
after
was
that, I
the
think I
time.
lost the interest of movies because I felt there's nothing. I mean, for a change, I'll be able to get let's say for a quick mood change, I'll be able to go and watch a movie and do something. Other than that, there's nothing to get from them. Than it's better to be with the real life than in a movie. So that's why I stopped. But I still go to YouTube and watch these comedies because that it's for a short shift of the thinking, or if you want to quickly move here and there, those are good. But well, I
It's
don't want
always
to
good to
spend
live
2-3 hours in a movie.
good to live in real life than in a fantasy bubble. So that was, ladies and gentlemen, our conversation with Professor Rangika. It has indeed been an interesting conversation. So, Professor, to end today's things, what would be the message that you would want to leave with us? I think we know the message already. You've been reiterating it throughout. But for one last time, say it out loud for everyone who's watching and listening to us.
Well, I will instead of saying one, I will try to summarize our entire conversation to one or rather two statements. One is you better read yourself. If you can value yourself, you should be able to you'll be able to value somebody else. If you can't value yourself, if you can't understand your the talents and the capabilities, you'll not be able to value someone else. So valuing the mutual respect and the valuing is very much important in your life. So learn reading yourself, then you will be able to start valuing yourself. I mean, you have to value yourself. I mean, you have a lot of stuff in you, so you need to read and get them out, and then next day you will be able to value the rest. And the next point, reiterating something I told, you need to have a balance. If you are earning 100 rupees, make sure you spend 1 rupee, at least 1 rupee less than what you earn. And if you are earning 100 rupees from this beautiful blessed country, not the best country, but the blessed country. So I'm pitching the point again, the blessed country. You make sure you earn 100 rupees and at least try to give 101 rupees back to the country. So if you do that, you'll be happy and you can die one day with a happy face. You don't have to suffer thinking about your past. You can be a happy person. And my dream is to die in a developed country. I'll be able to achieve my final dream as well.
I think, Professor, thank you so much for that. So, two messages that Professor leaves with us. One is to read yourself and value yourself, that you'll be able to value others as well. And then once you earn, spend at least 1 rupee less. And if you're to give back, give 1 rupee more with what you earn. And so you can die with a clear conscience. And the Professor said at last that he'd love to die in a developed country. So this is another thing that I've been saying. I am so many years old, And since I was in school, I've been saying this is a developing country. Since I left school, I've been saying this is a developing country. And even to date, I'm saying it's a developing country. So all of us hope and pray that this becomes a developed country as soon as possible. And no one else can do that, the current generation, but the youth, you and I, who are the future generation, who can change things, try and change things, read ourselves, add value to ourselves and the lives of others as well. So, Professor, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining with us, and thank you for that wonderful conversation. Enjoyed it thoroughly. So much of insight, so much of thinking, that food for thought that was left with us. So, all of you who are watching us and listening to us, do leave a comment. Do leave your thoughts, whatever you have to add to this conversation, and what you think of this conversation, and what you would want to hear more in our next episodes of podcast season 3, brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka. So let me remind you once again the platforms that you can watch us and listen to us. That is Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, YouTube, and the Facebook page of ISAC Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a wonderful audience. Professor, once again, thank you so much again for your time and that wonderful insight.
Welcome, Kavishka.
Wishing you once again a blessed new year, Professor, and all of you listening and joining us. Thank you and have a blessed year. Read yourself and be better versions of yourself tomorrow than you are today. Signing off is your host, Kavishka Pereira. Take care till we are back again with another episode of Podcast Season 3, brought to you by ISAC Sri Lanka.